The media consensus is that Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were the big winners in the CNBC debate, and the pundits kept using a chilling phrase to describe the plight of Jeb Bush.
Let's talk about Jeb and the death watch right now. It's not looking good, and the donors are running for the exits now.
Is there kind of, for lack of a better term, a death watch for the Jeb Bush campaign right now?
Can I tell you, last night in Boulder in that spin room, it felt like a wake.
There are those that say that decision with that exchange is terminal for your campaign.
I knew this was going to be a long journey, but to suggest that the campaign is terminal, come on, well, that's pretty funny.
You make of the headlines that say your campaign is on life support?
It's not on life support. We have the most money. We have the greatest organization. We're doing fine.
Mercedes Schlapp, Andrea McCarran, and Joe Trippi are back with us. Andrea, should journalists be using phrases like death watch and saying to Jeb Bush, should you drop out? Are you on life support? Why aren't you toast?
I think that's terribly unfair, and I think it's highly editorial. Look, there are 9 candidates with poll numbers lower than Jeb Bush. The voters have a long time to make their decisions. No voter has cast his or her ballot. What I will say, though, it did not help Jeb Bush at all during the debate. Probably one of the most animated moments that I've witnessed during the campaign season is his talking about fantasy football. But
which was a question from a CNBC moderator, which he kind of, well, he was bragging about his team, and then it was Chris Christie who said, why are we talking about fantasy football?
And our journalists asking Bobby Jindal, Rick Santorum, if they're dropping out. I don't think so.
Let's stipulate that Jeb had a pretty lousy debate when he needed to have a good one, and he's been struggling in this campaign. There's no debate about that. But when the media are constantly saying to you, why are you still in this? Are you on life support? Doesn't that color the coverage too much?
Absolutely. The media wrote the obituary already for Jeb Bush. And we didn't see that with Governor Walker, which was interesting. Although Governor Walker's numbers were low, we were caught a bit off guard when he decided back in the summer to drop out. So clearly there's been a distinction in the way they've been covering Jeb.
On Meet the Press today, Jeb Bush said that one of his challenges was to break through the clutter of the punditry class. I think he may have more challenges than just the pundits. But on the other side, Joe, New York Times editorial demanding that Chris Christie drop out and go back to being just governor of New Jersey. Who exactly elected the media to decide and demand that candidates should get off the national stage?
Well, it's crazy. So far this year, anytime the media is ganged up and said something was going to happen, take the other side of the bet. So if everybody's running around saying Bush is dead, I'm going to go the other way. I don't think he's dead at all. He's going to, it's just.
But as a former campaign manager, you know that doesn't, it's not helpful if it's because it dominates the conversation.
But it's not reality. And there are plenty of episodes in the past and even this cycle that have proven that it's not reality. Everything from Hillary Clinton was finished and collapsing. We'll see whether that pans out or not. But it was way overdone. So the media gets on these bandwagons and just overdoes it, and it does hurt a campaign. But it's also, does he come back from that? Does he fight back? That's something he can do, and in that sense, the media may actually help him come back into the storyline.
And he's even been urging people to write his comeback narrative.
Right. That could be it. But how many times has the media been out there saying Donald Trump is done?
Right.
And he's not done.
Or he's not a real candidate.
Exactly.
I lost count, and we'll get to Trump in a second, but I want to ask Andrea about Marco Rubio, because at that debate, he was asked about the Sun Sentinel, big newspaper in Florida, calling on him to resign because he has a spotty record in voting in the Senate. Well, of course, whenever you run for president, your voting record suffers. And Rubio and his campaign pointed out that the Sun Sentinel, while urging him to step down over missing 30% of the votes in a certain period, and by the Bush, that was the basis for the Jeb Bush attack, not the biggest issue to voters, I don't think, didn't do that when Florida Senator Bob Graham ran for president in 2003. The paper did not. 37% missed votes. Or when it endorsed Obama in 2008, 25% missed votes. So does Rubio have a point?
I think he has a really valid point, and I think he actually handled that question, deflected it very, very well. But that whole idea gave the media haters a whole lot of ammunition because it did come across as clearly biased.
All right.